morning, guys. Good morning from the East Coast of the United States. Hey, Liam, good morning to you. So, it's been a while for me. I have been, I was actually, well, not literally, but I was held hostage in, hey, good to hear from you too, Mother Dela Cruz. Yeah, I was working in Augusta, Georgia, and for the last month or so, and 7 days a week, and so really haven't had any time for YouTube. But that is over. The project is done, and things went pretty well in terms of the project, so I'm happy about that. And now I'm back here in Maryland, just in time for the summer to be over. So today is kind of a little more autumn-like. At least it was last night. It got cool. Hey, Josie. Yeah, long time no hear. That's true. I've been busy working. Just haven't had time for it. But I figured I'd come back with a live, and that's what we'll do this morning. So what we're talking about is I've been getting a lot of questions from guys asking me, what to think about. They're going to make their first trip to the Philippines. They've never been there before. And one of the things I always tell people is to be respectful and remember that you are a guest in their country. And so I thought we'd touch on those things that you don't want to do when you're visiting the Philippines. And feel free to jump in and comment and leave your ideas there too. Things that you've seen foreigners do in the Philippines that you didn't like. Hey, Darlene, good to see you. So, being respectful is a big one. Filipinos are naturally very friendly, and but you can easily offend them, and you should not do that. Definitely shouldn't do that. So, also respect for the elderly was another one that I thought of. Be respectful of the elders in the family. If you have a Filipino girlfriend, and she takes you to meet her family, then you need to be respectful of the elders. I think that's very important. So what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. So some of the things I was thinking about, being respectful to elders is a big one. Like I said, the overarching attitude that you should have when you're visiting the Philippines is that you are a guest in their country, and so you should be respectful and of that. You're a guest in their country, and you need to be respectful. Every time an American, especially, but any foreigner really, misbehaves and does bad things in the Philippines, and it reflects badly on all of us, including me. And I don't think that's a very good thing to be doing. I think you need to be nice. Hi, Ida. Good morning to you. So, something that you should be aware of, I guess, is a thing they call Filipino time. In the West, it's considered normal to be punctual. So if somebody says we're going to have dinner at 5, then everybody should be there by 5. And as a matter of fact, and for us former military guys, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. But that's not so in the Philippines. Somebody tells you dinner's at 5, you want to show up at 5:30 or 5:45 or something like that. It's just the way Filipinos seem to operate on Filipino time. And yeah, I mean, if someone invites you to dinner at their house and they tell you 5 o'clock and you show up at 5 o'clock, then you're going to kind of stress them out because they're probably not ready for you at that time. Also, there are going to be foods, that you're not used to. Things like balut and lechon and stuff like that, that you as a Westerner may not have experienced. If you're going to refuse, if somebody offers you balut and, you're going to refuse, just be very polite about it. Generally, you don't want to refuse someone's hospitality, especially if they've spent a lot of time preparing a meal and they offer you something, you should sit down and eat. But bizarre street foods, you can politely bow out of that. I personally don't like duck, so yeah. I mean, that's true, Liam. You want to be respectful. You don't roll your eyes and turn your nose away. I don't want that. Be polite about it. Don't be rude. Yeah, that's right, Liam. Keep it to yourself. Hey, Ray, what's up? Good morning to you. Oh, cool, Ray. That's very cool. Well, then you're right. Is this your first trip to the Philippines? Another thing that'll happen, especially among the guys, is the Filipino guys uh, like to sit around and drink tanduay, which is fairly inexpensive rum and gin and stuff like that. I personally found a second trip. Okay, cool. I personally found taking a liking to Llama Dog, but you got to be careful with the stuff that's done moonshine out in the province. When the distilling process first starts up, because of the difference in the chemistry, usually the first half a liter or so of liquid that comes out of the distillation tubes going to have very high levels of methanol in it, which is poisonous to us human beings. And so you want to be very careful when drinking that. If it's made in a proper distillery, something like that. Hey, Amy, good to see you. If it's made in a proper distillery, then you're probably okay to drink it. If it comes from San Miguel or somebody like that. But if it's made out in the woods in a home moonshine, you want to be very careful of it. So some of that moonshine is very high in methanol, and the methanol will kill you. There have been a lot of deaths reported. in the Philippines. But I actually like the Llama Dog. It's made from the coconut nectar. I know around Cebu, in Visayan, they call it tuba, which is the nectar of the coconut is fermented, and they make a wine out of it called tuba. And then you take the wine and distill it; it becomes Llama Dog. So I personally like it, but do be careful out in the province with people that are making their own at home. Yeah, it could very possibly have some high levels of methanol in it, and that's not good for you. Another thing that's kind of interesting is Filipinos, and my family included, will notice that, oh, you gain weight, you're fat, and they'll just blurt it right out. I mean, it's just the way Filipinos are. It's not intended to be harmful. I know those of us in the West become very um, fat conscious, Filipinos will notice it, but they're not trying to insult you with it. They're just noticing your size and whatnot. So that's Mira. I'm going to tell her I'm live. As a matter of fact, I remember a video from, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, of a woman who visited, I think, Coron in Palawan. And she felt like people were making fun because she was a very portly girl. And she felt like people were making fun of her. And I commented that I didn't, knowing Filipinos, wasn't sure that they were making fun of her so much as just noticing the obvious. But of course, she was highly offended by the comments that the Filipinos were making. But I mean, that's just what it is, Another thing that came to mind is they're going to call you Joe. It's like the G.I. Joe thing. If you're a Westerner and you're big and tall and very white like me, I'll stick out like a sore thumb. And so people will just say, "Hi, Joe," just they're being friendly. So don't be offended by it. Traffic is bad. Traffic is bad. Even in Cebu. And Cebu is a much smaller town than Manila. But the traffic gets really bad. The drivers in the Philippines don't have the same amount of respect for pedestrians as we do here in the U.S. anyway. So be mindful if you're crossing the streets. There are certain times of the day they will have traffic enforcers out there, people directing, hey, my good BE, baby. So they may have traffic enforcers out there, and I would stick with them or stick with the herd if you're crossing the street. But you do have to be careful because it's not you're not going to always be given the right of way just because you're a pedestrian. Let's put it that way. And as usual, things, you don't want to get into conversations about religion or politics. I always, when people ask me, I tell them, look, I'm an American. I can't vote here in the Philippines, so I'm not going to offer my opinion. It's none of my business. It's the business of Filipinos to decide who they want to run their country. And this tendency of Americans and whatnot to want to interfere in other people's businesses is not a good thing, quite frankly. So leave that to the Filipinos. I always tell them, my family likes Duterte or whatever, and I leave it at that. But hey, Jazzy Daisy, how are you? But yeah, I avoid any discussions like that. I am a Catholic, and so is Mira and my family, and so I don't have any issues there. But you probably wouldn't want to get into any religious discussions either. It's probably a subject you're not going to win any minds over by talking about that. Once again, remember that you are a guest in their country, and so you should behave like that. You should behave like a guest. I would not be very flashy with money and do anything like that. Be modest when it comes to flashing money around. It's not something you want to do. Be honest with you, everybody. I just was using my guitar, baby. Put it down because I'm talking now. But yeah, flashing money around is not a good thing. If a Filipino sees me and realizes that I'm a foreigner, they're already going to assume that I have money because not everybody can afford to buy a plane ticket and fly to the Philippines and then spend 2-3 weeks there on vacation. So anyway, keep that in mind. Keep it to yourself. That'll keep you out of trouble, especially with thieves and things like that. It depends on when, I personally have not ever had any problem in the Philippines. But then again, I'm not the kind of guy that goes out to bars drinking at night, running around late at night and doing those kinds of things. That's just not my style. So those are things that tend to get you in trouble. If you're staying away from that, then you'll probably be okay. Some things are cheaper in the Philippines and some things are not. So don't go thinking that everything is going to be a lot cheaper than what you expect in the U.S. or the West, somewhere. You can generally get better prices if you're shopping at the open markets, at the public markets. They tend to be a little less expensive than, say, at the malls or the grocery stores. Hey, thanks, Ken. Yeah, the project went pretty good. But it was brutal. It was brutal, especially for an old man like me. And so not everything is cheap, and, it depends on where you shop. So, hey, Jim, good to see you too, buddy. Yeah, there are different prices for foreigners. That's true, and some of them are actually posted. They might, and tricycle drivers and stuff like that will try to get extra money from you because they know you're a foreigner and you have money. So I'll leave it up to Mira to negotiate the prices for me. So I don't know, you Filipinos. I'm told, and I've never really experienced this. Maybe because I don't. I personally don't lump everybody into one place. The Filipinos are very distinct from their Asian neighbors. They're a lot different than Chinese or Koreans or Vietnamese or whatever, mainly because of their history. They were a Spanish colony for many, many years. And so things in the Philippines are a little bit different than they would be in those other countries. Of course, every country seems to, it has its own culture, its own vibe going on. But Filipinos are distinctly Filipino, and they're a proud people. And if I were you, I would not try to lump them all together. Yeah, wait outside until after she pays. That's right. I have a video, probably a while, well, quite a few years old now. Vivian and I were at the market, and there was a guy trying to sell me a belt, just because I'm like, I don't even wear belts, dude. Why would I buy a belt? But I guess he figured, well, I'm a foreigner, so I have money and I can afford to buy a belt. But so anyway, like I said, Filipinos are Filipinos, and I would not lump them together with all the other Asians. Matter of fact, I wouldn't lump all the other Asians together, because Vietnamese are distinctly Vietnamese people, as opposed to Koreans who are distinctly Korean. And as a matter of fact, I'm getting better because of the number of times that I've been to that area. I'm getting better at recognizing Koreans from Japanese from Chinese, from Thai people, so you can kind of see in the makeup of their face and their body and everything. Usually a good guess where they're from. Not always right, but. Now, there's some debate about tap water. I generally will drink bottled water to stay on the safe side. They tell me some cities like Davao, tap water's okay to drink. And it may be a function of your constitution, whether or not you can drink it. But personally, it's not that expensive, and I'll just buy a few liters of bottled water and bring it up to the hotel. 7-Elevens have cases of it in the back, and you just 1 and 2 liter bottles, and you can buy some of those. They're fairly cheap. It's not that much, but better to err on the side of safety, because if you get sick, then you end up with diarrhea and all that kind of stuff, and that's not fun at all. All right, guys. So what other things do you have in mind? Things that a newbie should not do when they go to the Philippines. Something that comes to mind is the Philippines is a hot and tropical place, which means it's hot and humid all the time. So don't bring winter clothes. Even though a lot of times I'll leave here from BWI Airport in the winter, or like my next trip, probably in November. I'll probably have a jacket with me. And actually, sometimes the jacket comes in handy on the airplane because it can get cold up there. But you're not going to need it in the Philippines. And so I usually make sure I have a nice pair of jeans, and and I usually travel in those. And but the rest is just t-shirts, polo shirts, shorts, and slippers. Flip flops. So now you are going to sweat all the time in the Philippines, so have a little rag, a little towel to carry around with you. Mira picked this one out for me at Santo Nino. There was a guy, street vendor, selling some towels. Just about every Filipino is going to have one of these in their pocket to carry around with them and wipe the sweat off, because you're going to sweat. It's very hot and humid there. It rains a fair amount as well. So, hey, Tom, good to see you. It rains, on and off. I know they just went through kind of a dry spell, but the typhoons have been swarming around in the Pacific here lately. So even if the Philippines is not directly hit by a typhoon, the bands from the circulation of the storm will bring rain through. I know at Mira's place, it was just flooded out not too long ago because there was a lot of rain. So oh, yeah. So the pediatrician said that, huh, Jim? I haven't heard that. But yeah, I stay with the bottled water or, properly bottled Llama Dog or San Miguel Light. That's my favorite. So Viz 224 says travel with carry on only. Yeah, that's hard for me to do because I carry computers and everything with me, and my camera and all that kind of stuff. And I'm always bringing a bunch of stuff with me for either my family or for Mira, So I end up checking one bag, carry one bag on. So you do want to have your wits about you. On the streets, like I said, there was this guy that tried to sell me a belt and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, be aware. The word we used in the military was situational awareness. Oh yeah, Liam had chocolates always. I have to bring some chocolate and shampoo and conditioner because for Mira's hair, that kind of stuff. Yeah, always bringing some stuff over. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get another Balikbayan box started. I should get I should just pay Jim's wife Maria to pack a Balikbayan box for me. She packs the Balikbayan boxes so tight. Jim says that there's no molecule of American air in the box by the time it leaves to go to the Philippines. So, but yeah, so I'm always carrying some stuff as gifts and whatnot for my girl and my family. So yeah, it's just never works out that I. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Filipinos love to sing karaoke. I love to sing karaoke too. It's fun. And a mistake that the Westerners make is they get into a situation where they're being judgmental about the singers, making fun of the ones that can't sing well, Don't do that. It's not about that for the Filipinos. They're just having fun. Uh, they're just having fun. It doesn't matter if they're a bad singer or a good singer, you know. Certainly you can compliment good singers, but don't make fun of bad singers. It's just rude, okay? So don't do it. It's not about them being great singers. It's about everybody having fun. So um, you don't want to insult them, okay? So for your first trip there, you may not run into this, but and I'm not going to. I don't want to single out the Filipinos for this because it happens everywhere, but there is bribery and corruption in political offices, and even at the magistrate, where you're going to, if you're getting married and you may have to bribe the clerk, right, to get your paperwork expedited, that kind of stuff. Money does talk, so keep that in mind. That I wouldn't be surprised if a clerk asks you for an extra couple hundred pesos to expedite your paperwork. They're just doing what they do. You know? So that's pretty much it, guys, for that topic today. Let me know your thoughts. Jump in there in the comment section here and tell me what your thoughts are. Hey, good night, baby. Sleep well. Sleep well. So I've been at this for about half an hour, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and check out here. Got some chores to do around the house today since it was gone for a month. And got to get the grass cut and things like that. I actually need to wash my truck because there were so many flying critters down there in Georgia and South Carolina that bugs are squashed all over the front of my truck. And I need to get those cleaned up. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It feels good to be back home and not working nearly as hard as I was before. And you guys take care. Yeah. Hey, baby. Yeah, I got a load of laundry I got to get done as well. So I got chores to do this afternoon. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for joining me. I appreciate it. Everybody have a wonderful day. God bless you all. And we'll see you next time.